Sigma males move according to an inner compass. They do not hurry to prove their worth, nor do they collapse under the weight of social pressures. Instead, they cultivate habits that may appear simple on the surface, but in reality, they require rare discipline and self-awareness. For ordinary men, these habits can be difficult, even uncomfortable. They require patience in a world that values speed, silence in a culture that rewards noise, and detachment in environments that thrive on validation. The Sigma chooses the harder road, not because he wishes to stand out, but because it aligns with his essence. Consider the habit of spending long hours in solitude. For most people, silence feels empty, something to be filled with chatter, distractions, or company. But for the Sigma, solitude is nourishment. It sharpens his thoughts and refines his sense of self. This single habit alone separates him from the ordinary, for few can endure the quiet long enough to find clarity in it. In this video, we will explore the habits of a Sigma male that are not easily imitated. These are not dramatic, high-energy practices, but steady, quiet disciplines that shape a man into something uncommon. So let us move slowly, taking our time as we uncover 8 Sigma male habits that ordinary men often struggle to live by. Number 1, embracing solitude without loneliness. Sigma males are not afraid of being alone. In fact, they embrace it. While many men see solitude as a form of isolation or even weakness, a Sigma understands that it is the very soil in which growth takes root. Science backs this up. Psychologists have long noted that time spent in solitude can sharpen creativity, improve focus, and even strengthen emotional regulation. For example, a study published in The found that individuals who regularly practiced solitude reported greater levels of self-reflection and long-term satisfaction than those who constantly sought social interaction. For a Sigma, being alone is never about loneliness, it's about alignment. It is in the quiet hours, away from noise and external influence, that he reflects on his path, learns from his past, and makes deliberate choices for his future. Many influential thinkers, like Nikola Tesla and Henry David Thoreau, also championed solitude as a wellspring of clarity and originality. Tesla once remarked that isolation was essential for invention, while Thoreau sought the wilderness of Walden Pond to better understand life itself. This mirrors the Sigma's instinct, stepping back from the crowd to hear the sound of his own thoughts. Ordinary men, on the other hand, often struggle with silence. Craving constant validation, attention, or distraction, they find an empty room unbearable because it forces them to confront themselves without filters. The Sigma sees this differently. He knows that self-mastery cannot be achieved in the clamor of endless chatter. It must be forged in the discipline of solitude. This doesn't mean he rejects people. Rather, he values connection that is authentic and purposeful, not built on fear of being alone. In solitude, the Sigma strengthens his inner resolve like a warrior sharpening his blade. He emerges from quiet seasons not weaker but sharper, more disciplined and more aware of who he is. Where others dread the silence, he thrives in it, proving that solitude is not an absence of life, it is the foundation of growth. Number 2, quiet observation before action. Rather than rushing into situations, the Sigma male observes. He listens more than he speaks and studies before he acts. This habit of patience allows him to move with precision, while others waste energy reacting too quickly. In many ways, this trait mirrors the principles found in psychology and history alike. For instance, researchers in cognitive science have shown that impulsive decision-making often activates the brain's limbic system, the emotional center, whereas deliberate, patient thinking engages the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational judgment and planning. This means that patience is not just a personality quirk, it is a neurological advantage that helps reduce errors and improve outcomes. Throughout history, some of the most effective leaders and thinkers have embodied this Sigma-like patience. Military strategist Sun Tzu wrote in that victory belongs to those who can wait, observe, and strike at the precise moment. Similarly, Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of modern times, has often credited patience as the cornerstone of his wealth-building strategy. While markets swing wildly with fear and greed, Buffett sits back, studies trends, and waits for the right opportunity, turning patience into profit. For the Sigma male, this practice is not about laziness or hesitation. Instead, it is a conscious rejection of the culture of haste. In today's world, where instant responses and quick reactions dominate, his stillness can be misunderstood as passivity. Yet research in behavioral economics shows that those who delay gratification often achieve greater success in the long run. The famous marshmallow experiment conducted at Stanford University demonstrated that children who resisted eating a marshmallow immediately in order to receive two later tended to perform better academically and socially as adults. The Sigma male lives by a similar principle, choosing foresight over impulse. This way of moving through life is what sets him apart. His silence is not emptiness but strategy, his delay not weakness but control. While others burn themselves out in the frenzy of constant action, the Sigma male conserves his energy, stepping forward only when the path is clear. That is why, when he finally acts, his moves appear almost effortless, as though he had known the outcome all along. Number 3, refusal to chase validation. Where ordinary men may measure their worth through recognition, the Sigma is content with his own approval. He does not adjust his values to gain applause. This freedom from external validation is rare, yet it grants him immense inner peace. In psychology, this quality is often linked to what Abraham Maslow described as self-actualization, the highest stage of human development, where a person lives authentically, guided by inner principles rather than external rewards. Most people, consciously or not, chase validation, from social media likes to workplace praise, because human beings are wired with a deep need for belonging. Studies in social psychology confirm that external validation can light up the same brain regions as receiving a tangible reward. Yet while this can boost confidence temporarily, it often leads to dependency. The Sigma male avoids this trap by finding satisfaction in his own judgment, which builds long-term resilience. History offers countless examples of individuals who lived this way. Think of Nikola Tesla, who was largely ignored and even ridiculed in his time, yet persisted with his vision because he valued his own convictions over recognition. Or consider the Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, who reminded himself daily that the opinions of others were fleeting and beyond his control. This perspective echoes what Sigmas embody in daily life, a quiet refusal to compromise their identity for approval. Educationally, this habit challenges us to reflect on our own relationship with validation. Are our choices shaped by our inner compass or by the desire to be seen and applauded? Entertainingly, you might picture the Sigma as the man at a crowded party, who doesn't need to be the loudest voice in the room. He stands at the edge, calm and observant, and somehow his stillness speaks louder than any performance. Ordinary men may struggle with this, because in a world driven by visibility and applause, choosing silence and self-approval seems almost rebellious. Yet it is precisely this rebellion that grants the Sigma his peace, his strength, and his mysterious pull. Number 4, self-discipline in daily life. Whether it is in fitness, work, or study, Sigma males maintain discipline without ever needing to broadcast it. They are not the type to post their early morning gym sessions on social media or boast about how many hours they studied the night before. Instead, they quietly live in a rhythm of structure and consistency, rising early, following routines, and sticking to their commitments even when no one is watching. This hidden discipline is what separates them from ordinary men, who often rely heavily on external accountability, whether it's a boss, a coach, or the fear of public judgment, to stay on track. A Sigma male's drive comes from within, rooted in self-mastery rather than social validation. Psychologists refer to this quality as intrinsic motivation, where an individual is fueled by inner values and goals rather than outside rewards. Studies on habit formation have shown that routines anchored in intrinsic motivation are far more sustainable, which explains why Sigma males are able to maintain consistency over years, not just weeks. For example, in fitness, an ordinary man might hit the gym hard for a month when motivated by a friend or a trainer, but quickly fall off when that support fades. A Sigma male, on the other hand, views the gym as a non-negotiable part of his day, much like brushing his teeth or eating breakfast. He does not need applause for his effort. The act itself is the reward. This discipline extends beyond physical health. In their studies or careers, Sigma males practice what productivity experts call deep work. the ability to focus without distraction on cognitively demanding tasks. While ordinary men might procrastinate until deadlines loom, Sigmas carve out consistent blocks of time to chip away at their goals. Over time, this quiet persistence compounds like interest in a bank account, yielding results that seem extraordinary to others but are simply the natural outcome of daily discipline. It is this rare blend of intrinsic motivation, routine, and consistency that allows Sigma males to build lives of strength and independence without ever needing the spotlight to validate their efforts. Number 5. Selective social energy. Sigma males interact with others carefully, and this is often misunderstood. To many observers, their behavior can seem detached or distant, as though they are uninterested in people or unwilling to connect. But the reality is far more nuanced. Sigma males are not antisocial. Instead, they are selective, choosing quality over quantity when it comes to relationships and interactions. This careful selection is rooted in the idea of energy preservation. Human psychology and neuroscience confirm that social interactions consume cognitive and emotional resources. A study published in highlighted how prolonged social engagement can increase stress markers in introverted personalities. Sigma males, though not strictly introverts, naturally apply this awareness by guarding their time and energy from shallow or draining connections. Rather than spreading themselves thin across multiple superficial relationships, they invest deeply in a few meaningful ones. This approach is not about rejection of others, but about alignment with authenticity. Think of it like the principle of Dunbar's number, a concept in anthropology that suggests humans can only maintain around 150 stable social relationships at once. Sigma males unconsciously narrow this further, recognizing that intimacy, trust, and genuine respect are diluted when one tries to engage with too many people. By focusing on fewer bonds, they maintain emotional clarity and avoid unnecessary drama. This refined social strategy has practical benefits. It allows them to remain adaptable, independent, and focused on their goals without constant distraction from external noise. Unlike extroverts, who may draw energy from crowds, or alphas, who thrive on dominance within groups, Sigmas prioritize internal balance. Their careful interactions ensure that when they do give their presence, it carries weight and meaning. Others often sense this difference. Conversations with Sigmas tend to feel intentional rather than performative. This is why people may describe them as mysterious or difficult to access. They are not withholding, but deliberate. In many ways, this guarded energy mirrors historical and cultural figures known for their restraint. Think of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, who valued contemplation and self-discipline over constant social immersion. Today, in an age of endless notifications and shallow digital connections, the Sigma's approach serves as a quiet rebellion. It is not detachment, it is discernment. By interacting carefully, they preserve the rare ability to show up authentically with full presence when it truly matters. Number 6, thinking long-term, acting slowly. In a world that constantly rewards speed and instant gratification, the Sigma male operates on a very different wavelength. He is not caught up in the rush of chasing the next thrill, the newest trend, or the quickest reward. Instead, his mindset is firmly planted in the long game. This does not mean he is slow or passive, far from it. It means he values foresight, patience, and the kind of discipline that most men find difficult to maintain. While others often choose what feels good in the moment, the Sigma invests in skills, builds habits, and makes decisions with the future in mind. This quiet strategy is what sets him apart. Psychologists often call this delayed gratification, the ability to resist immediate temptations in order to achieve larger, long-term goals. One of the most famous studies on this subject was the Stanford marshmallow experiment in the 1970s. Children were given a choice: eat one marshmallow now or wait and receive 2 later. The children who managed to wait ended up years down the line with higher levels of success in education, careers, and even personal relationships. The Sigma male naturally embodies this principle in his daily life. He knows that true growth takes time, whether it is mastering a new skill, nurturing a relationship, or building financial independence. This foresight protects him from the pitfalls of haste. Many people rush into decisions, spending money they do not have, chasing relationships they are not ready for, or accepting jobs that only drain their energy, only to pay the price later. The Sigma male avoids this trap by pausing, reflecting, and then acting with precision. This doesn't make him rigid, rather, it makes him adaptable. By thinking ahead, he has already considered possible outcomes, which means he can pivot without losing his balance. In modern society, where credit cards promise instant purchases and social media promises instant attention, the ability to think long-term is a rare strength. Sigma males understand that real power comes not from the rush of the moment, but from the accumulation of wise decisions over time. They play a quieter, smarter game, investing in themselves when no one is watching, and reaping the rewards when others are left wondering how they manage to stay so steady. This is the hidden advantage of foresight, and it's why Sigmas often thrive where ordinary men stumble. Number 7, emotional detachment in conflict. When disagreements arise, the Sigma male does not meet them with chaos or fiery outbursts. Instead, he takes the opposite route, remaining calm, detached, and rational. Where most men might raise their voices or let emotions dictate their actions, the Sigma treats conflict as a test of composure. His approach is not about avoiding confrontation, but about mastering it. By maintaining emotional control, he disarms the situation and keeps the power in his hands. This quiet, calculated response often leaves others unsettled because they expect anger or drama and instead meet unshakable calm. This quality is rooted in psychology. Studies in emotional intelligence show that individuals who regulate their emotions effectively are better at conflict resolution and decision-making. Sigmas embody this principle naturally. Instead of reacting impulsively, they allow the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of the brain, to take charge rather than the amygdala, which triggers emotional responses like anger or fear. This ability to stay grounded gives them a sharp advantage, whether in personal relationships or professional settings. History even offers parallels. Figures such as Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, emphasized composure in the face of adversity, writing that true strength is measured not by controlling others, but by controlling oneself. What makes this even more fascinating is how the Sigma's calmness transforms conflict into opportunity. While others drain their energy through arguments, the Sigma conserves his, using logic and strategy to guide the outcome. This mirrors negotiation tactics used by diplomats and successful leaders who know that patience and rationality are often more effective than force. In social interactions, his detached demeanor can create an air of mystery, leaving others guessing what he truly thinks, which in turn shifts the balance of control in his favor. In everyday life, this behavior is rare because it requires discipline, self-awareness, and practice. For most men, ego and emotion often override reason. The Sigma, however, is not driven by the need to prove himself in the heat of the moment. He understands that true influence comes from restraint. By choosing silence over shouting, patience over provocation, and strategy over impulse, he not only resolves disagreements but also demonstrates a deeper mastery, one that sets him apart from ordinary men. Number 8, constant inner learning. Perhaps the most enduring habit of a Sigma is his commitment to learning. Unlike many who consume knowledge casually, a Sigma male treats learning as a lifelong pursuit, one that demands reflection and depth. He does not settle for surface-level information or fleeting trends. Instead, he immerses himself in books, observations, and experiences that challenge his mind. Studies in psychology suggest that people who adopt this reflective approach to learning often develop stronger critical thinking skills and greater adaptability, traits that align perfectly with the Sigma's independent nature. History offers countless examples of men who embodied this discipline. Leonardo da Vinci filled his notebooks with sketches and questions about everything from anatomy to astronomy, while modern figures like Elon Musk have credited their success to voracious self-education across multiple fields. For the Sigma, life itself becomes the classroom, with every setback, success, and quiet moment serving as a lesson. He does not measure progress by diplomas or titles, but by the wisdom gained from observation and contemplation. This is why the Sigma often appears ahead of his time, because he invests in learning not as a requirement, but as a way of life, ensuring that growth never truly ends. The habits of a Sigma male are not random quirks, but carefully developed patterns rooted in psychology and discipline. Studies on personality frameworks, particularly those expanding from Carl Jung's archetypes, suggest that introverted yet highly independent individuals often thrive by creating structured routines that prioritize self-mastery over external validation. This is why Sigma habits look so unusual to others. They don't follow society's rhythm, but their own internal compass. For instance, spending long hours alone may seem isolating to most, yet research shows solitude can increase creativity, problem-solving ability, and emotional regulation. Similarly, detaching from social noise doesn't mean disinterest. It reflects a conscious choice to protect mental clarity. Over time, these consistent choices forge resilience, independence, and a quiet confidence. What appears difficult to the average man, discipline, patience, and emotional restraint, becomes second nature for the Sigma. His life teaches us that strength is not always loud. Sometimes it thrives in silence. They say time waits for no one. But what if I told you that some men seem to exist on a different clock? A clock where wrinkles hesitate, energy never fades, and confidence only sharpens with age. Welcome to the hidden world of Sigma males. The men who don't just walk through life, they glide through it, untouched by the ordinary grind, the invisible pull of time, and the aging process that traps the rest of us. Think about it. You meet a man in his 40s who moves with the calm assurance of someone decades younger. His eyes hold stories, yes, but also a spark that refuses to dim. His energy, relentless. His mind, razor sharp. The question isn't just who he is, it's how he does it. How does a Sigma male defy what nature has clearly planned for everyone else? Today we're diving deep into 6 shocking proofs that reveal exactly why Sigma males age differently. We'll uncover secrets that mainstream science barely touches, habits they adopt that seem deceptively simple but are life-altering, and behaviors so subtle yet so powerful that they create an aura of timeless vitality. We'll explore the invisible armor they wear against stress, the mental frameworks that let them process life without burning out, and even the hidden rituals that keep their bodies and minds in peak condition long after others would falter. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why they age differently, you'll start noticing these patterns in your own life, in the people around you, and maybe even in the reflection staring back at you in the mirror. So if you've ever wondered why some men seem to grow more magnetic, more powerful, and more unshakable with every passing year, while the world around them fades, stay with me. This isn't just about age. It's about a lifestyle, a mindset, and a way of being that defies expectations. By the time we're done, the question won't be why Sigma males don't age like the rest. The real question will be, how can you start bending time in your favor too? Strap in, because what you're about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about aging, energy, and the hidden codes of elite masculinity. Point 1, the power of solitude. Sigma males have a unique relationship with solitude that sets them apart from most people. Unlike those who view being alone as a symptom of loneliness or social inadequacy, Sigma males embrace solitude as a deliberate and essential sanctuary for self-reflection and personal growth. In a world overflowing with noise, distractions, and constant social demands, they understand that stepping away from the chaos is not a retreat, but a strategic choice. Solitude becomes a space where they can process their thoughts, evaluate their emotions, and reconnect with their inner selves without external pressures shaping their decisions or perspectives. Psychologically, this practice has profound benefits. Research in neuroscience suggests that time spent in introspection enhances self-awareness and emotional intelligence, both of which are critical traits for maintaining balance in life. By reflecting on their experiences, Sigma males are able to navigate challenges with a clarity and calmness that often eludes those constantly immersed in social interaction. This mental clarity is not merely an abstract concept. It translates into practical advantages, from better decision-making to stronger resilience against stress and anxiety. Their ability to process emotions internally allows them to maintain mental equilibrium, avoiding the common pitfalls of impulsivity and reactive behavior. Moreover, solitude offers Sigma males the opportunity to recharge their energy. Unlike extroverted individuals who draw vitality from social interactions, Sigma males find their energy restored in quiet moments alone. This regenerative process contributes to both mental and physical health, supporting a sense of vitality that often appears to defy the normal effects of aging. They are less susceptible to the burnout and cognitive fatigue that frequently accompany overstimulation and social overcommitment, giving them an appearance of calm confidence and enduring composure. Solitude also fosters creativity and introspective thought. Many historical figures celebrated for their ingenuity, from Nikola Tesla to Albert Einstein, reportedly thrived in extended periods of focused isolation, a trait Sigma males intuitively emulate. In these moments, they are free to explore ideas, solve problems, and engage with their passions without the interference of external judgment or distraction. Over time, this habit of purposeful solitude cultivates not only wisdom, but also a profound sense of inner peace, a tranquility that radiates outward, often giving the impression that Sigma males move through life unaffected by the superficial stresses that age others prematurely. In essence, Sigma males' embrace of solitude is far more than a preference. It is a strategic approach to living. Through intentional time alone, they achieve self-mastery, emotional stability, and intellectual depth, creating a foundation for a life marked by clarity, peace, and resilience, proving that solitude is not loneliness but a secret source of strength. Point 2. A life of purpose. Every action a Sigma male takes is intentional, a direct reflection of his inner values and personal philosophy. Unlike the majority of people who may drift along with societal trends or seek constant validation from others, the Sigma male carefully chooses paths that align with his authentic purpose. This deliberate approach to life is not just a mindset. It's a lifestyle that influences his overall well-being, including how he ages. Scientific research has consistently shown that stress accelerates aging at a cellular level, impacting everything from skin elasticity to cognitive function. Cortisol, the hormone released during chronic stress, can break down collagen, disrupt sleep, and even impair memory. By prioritizing meaningful pursuits over fleeting approval, Sigma males naturally minimize this type of stress, giving their bodies and minds a more sustained sense of vitality. But it's not just about stress reduction. Living in alignment with one's core values provides a sense of fulfillment that is difficult to replicate through external validation. Psychologists refer to this as intrinsic motivation, the drive to act based on personal satisfaction rather than external reward. When actions are purpose-driven, life feels richer, more engaging, and far less chaotic. This focus transforms time from an adversary into an ally. Whereas many individuals perceive the passage of years as a relentless march toward decline, Sigma males see each day as an opportunity for growth, learning, and refinement. They treat challenges as lessons and setbacks as data points rather than personal failures. A mindset that fosters resilience and emotional stability, two key factors in maintaining health and longevity. Furthermore, this conscious, purpose-oriented approach extends to the way Sigma males invest in their physical and mental health. They understand that true mastery of life requires balance. Mental clarity, emotional regulation, and physical well-being all work together to create longevity. Studies in behavioral psychology and neuroscience suggest that individuals who have a clear sense of purpose often live longer, experience fewer age-related diseases, and enjoy higher overall life satisfaction. In essence, the Sigma male's deliberate lifestyle is a blueprint for aging gracefully. By eliminating unnecessary stresses, focusing on meaningful achievements, and continuously cultivating self-awareness, he preserves not only his vitality, but also the clarity and serenity that make life deeply rewarding. Time for him is not a thief, but a tool. Each decision, each effort, and each moment of reflection compounds to create a life of depth, resilience, and vitality. In embracing purpose over pretense, the Sigma male doesn't just live, he thrives, aging not merely in years, but in wisdom, strength, and presence. Point 3. Emotional resilience. Sigma males are often admired not just for their independence, but also for their remarkable emotional resilience, a trait that is cultivated through a deliberate approach to life's challenges. Unlike many who instinctively avoid discomfort or retreat in the face of adversity, Sigma males confront difficulties head-on, viewing them not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. This mindset is rooted in an understanding that life, by its very nature, is unpredictable, and that true strength emerges when one learns to adapt rather than resist. Scientific studies on resilience suggest that individuals who face stress constructively, analyzing setbacks, learning from mistakes, and remaining persistent, develop stronger neural pathways in the brain, particularly in areas associated with emotional regulation and problem-solving. Sigma males intuitively apply this principle, transforming potential frustration or anxiety into fuel for personal development. Their approach to challenges is not about reckless bravery or seeking confrontation, it's about measured response and self-mastery. When a Sigma male encounters failure, he reflects on what went wrong, extracts lessons, and adjusts his strategy rather than dwelling on negativity. This deliberate processing shields him from the emotional burnout that can often plague those who react impulsively or suppress their feelings. In fact, research in psychophysiology shows that chronic stress and unprocessed emotions can manifest physically, contributing to issues such as high blood pressure, weakened immunity, and even accelerated aging. By cultivating resilience, Sigma males effectively mitigate these risks, maintaining not only mental clarity but also physical well-being. Moreover, this emotional strength enables Sigma males to navigate life's social and professional landscapes with grace. They remain composed under pressure, are less prone to reactive behavior, and inspire trust among those around them. This calm confidence is not an inherent trait, but a byproduct of consistently facing adversity and learning to thrive despite it. Over time, they develop a nuanced understanding of human behavior, recognizing the challenges, whether interpersonal conflicts, career setbacks, or unexpected life changes, are integral to growth rather than merely obstacles to happiness. In essence, the resilience of Sigma males is a dynamic process of facing, learning, and evolving. It reflects a philosophy of life that embraces discomfort as a teacher, patience as a skill, and self-awareness as a guide. This combination of emotional intelligence and adaptability allows Sigma males to not only endure life's inevitable hardships, but to emerge from them stronger, wiser, and more capable, proving that true strength is as much about inner fortitude as it is about outward action. Point 4. Minimal stress exposure. Sigma males have long intrigued psychologists, sociologists, and curious observers alike, not just for their enigmatic charm, but also for their remarkable ability to navigate life on their own terms. One of the lesser-known yet fascinating aspects of their lifestyle is how it appears to influence their aging process. By consciously choosing paths that align with their authentic selves, Sigma males often sidestep the societal pressures that lead to chronic stress. Unlike individuals who feel compelled to climb the corporate ladder, maintain appearances, or constantly seek validation from peers, Sigmas operate according to their own internal compass. This conscious detachment from external stressors is more than just a mindset. It has profound physiological effects. When humans experience chronic stress, the body produces higher levels of cortisol, a hormone designed to help us respond to immediate threats. While cortisol is vital in short bursts, prolonged exposure is linked to a host of negative health effects, including inflammation, weakened immunity, and accelerated cellular aging. Studies have shown that elevated cortisol levels contribute to the shortening of telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of chromosomes, which is a key marker of biological aging. By living life on their own terms and avoiding unnecessary societal pressures, Sigma males often maintain lower baseline cortisol levels, giving their bodies a chance to age more gracefully. Furthermore, the Sigma male's preference for solitude or selective social interactions allows for periods of deep reflection, creativity, and emotional recalibration. Unlike extroverted individuals who may experience stress from constant social obligations or competition, Sigmas tend to cultivate environments that replenish their mental and emotional energy. Meditation, long walks, reading, or pursuing meaningful projects become more than hobbies. They serve as buffers against stress-induced aging. Interestingly, research in behavioral psychology suggests that autonomy and a strong sense of purpose are linked to better cardiovascular health, improved cognitive function, and a longer lifespan. By prioritizing self-alignment over external validation, Sigma males inadvertently harness these benefits. Their selective detachment isn't about apathy or avoidance. Rather, it's a strategic lifestyle choice that promotes mental resilience, emotional stability, and physical well-being. In essence, the Sigma male's approach to life offers a blueprint for aging, not just with fewer visible signs, but with a body and mind that remain sharper, calmer, and more resistant to the harmful effects of chronic stress. By honoring their authentic selves and refusing to be swept into the relentless current of societal expectations, Sigma males exemplify how conscious living can intersect with biology to create a slower, healthier aging process, proving that sometimes the key to longevity lies not in medicine or supplements, but in mastering the art of living intentionally. Point 5. Continuous learning. A Sigma male's journey is a unique tapestry woven from curiosity, independence, and a relentless pursuit of self-improvement. Unlike the typical social archetypes that often measure success through external validation, the Sigma male is motivated by an intrinsic desire to understand the world and himself. He reads widely, explores deeply, and asks questions not to win arguments or gain admiration, but to expand the horizons of his own mind. This internal drive for knowledge fosters a level of intellectual resilience that is not just impressive, it has tangible effects on health and longevity. Research in cognitive science suggests that continual learning and mental engagement help maintain neural plasticity, delaying cognitive decline and even reducing the risk of age-related diseases like Alzheimer's. In essence, a Sigma male's dedication to self-education does more than feed his intellect. It protects it. This commitment to mental growth is often complemented by physical discipline. Many Sigma males adopt routines that prioritize their well-being, whether through exercise, nutrition, or mindfulness practices. Studies show that consistent physical activity improves circulation to the brain, enhances memory, and promotes a positive mood. All factors that contribute to what scientists call successful aging. But the Sigma male doesn't pursue these habits for show. There is no need for public praise or social media accolades. His discipline is internal, guided by a profound understanding that self-care is a foundation for mastery in all areas of life. Moreover, Sigma males tend to cultivate a lifestyle that encourages emotional intelligence and mental balance. By spending time in reflection, meditation, or solitude, they process experiences thoroughly and develop a heightened awareness of themselves and others. This introspective approach has real benefits. Research has linked mindfulness and reflective thinking to lower stress levels, improved cardiovascular health, and even greater life satisfaction. A Sigma male's avoidance of unnecessary drama or toxic social hierarchies further reduces mental strain, allowing him to preserve emotional energy for pursuits that genuinely enrich his life. Interestingly, Sigma males often apply their intellectual curiosity in creative and practical ways. Whether it's mastering a new skill, solving complex problems, or innovating within their careers, their learning is active and adaptive. This versatility is not just a mental exercise, it builds resilience, enabling them to navigate unexpected challenges with calm and confidence. Studies on lifelong learners indicate that engaging in new and challenging activities keeps the brain flexible, much like a muscle that grows stronger with use. Ultimately, the Sigma male's path of continuous self-improvement is both an inward and outward journey. While he may seem solitary or enigmatic to outsiders, his life is rich with purpose, fueled by curiosity, discipline, and reflection. His dedication to knowledge, health, and emotional balance not only equips him to thrive in a rapidly changing world, but also fosters longevity, mental, physical, and spiritual. The Sigma male exemplifies the principle that true power lies not in external recognition, but in the quiet mastery of one's own mind, body, and life. Through this commitment, he ages not merely with years, but with wisdom, adaptability, and vitality. Point 6. Physical discipline. Sigma males are often misunderstood as aloof or detached individuals, but one area where they show remarkable awareness and discipline is in maintaining their physical health. Unlike others who might chase fitness trends for social recognition or vanity, Sigma males approach health as a practical, strategic aspect of life. They understand that a strong body directly supports a strong mind, allowing them to think clearly, perform effectively, and navigate challenges with resilience. This holistic perspective means they treat their physical well-being not as a mere aesthetic goal, but as a foundational tool that enhances their independence, productivity, and overall quality of life. Exercise is a cornerstone of the Sigma male lifestyle, but it is not performed casually or for fleeting social approval. They gravitate toward routines that maximize efficiency and results, often favoring strength training, functional exercises, and cardiovascular activities that build endurance and resilience. Their workouts are consistent, structured, and purposeful, reflecting a mindset that values long-term benefits over instant gratification. Science supports this approach. Regular exercise improves not only muscle strength, but also cognitive function, emotional stability, and overall longevity. By prioritizing their fitness, Sigma males equip themselves with the physical energy and mental clarity necessary to tackle both everyday responsibilities and extraordinary challenges. Nutrition is another area where Sigma males demonstrate self-discipline and knowledge. Rather than following fads or indulging in convenience foods, they make mindful choices that fuel their bodies efficiently. Balanced diets rich in whole foods, lean proteins, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates are staples in their regimen. They understand the science behind nutrition, how macronutrients and micronutrients contribute to energy levels, mental focus, and long-term health. Hydration and moderation are also key components, as Sigma males recognize that their body is a system that functions optimally when cared for holistically. By cultivating an intelligent and intentional approach to food, they reinforce their independence, ensuring that their performance and energy are never compromised by poor dietary choices. Rest and recovery are equally prioritized in the Sigma male lifestyle. They acknowledge that sleep is not a luxury, but a critical biological necessity for muscle repair, cognitive function, and emotional stability. Adequate rest allows their bodies and minds to recover from physical exertion and mental stress, enabling them to consistently operate at peak capacity. This combination of exercise, nutrition, and recovery creates a cycle of vitality that underpins their ability to pursue goals, overcome obstacles, and maintain a steady sense of self-discipline. In essence, Sigma males approach physical health with a strategic, mindful, and consistent mindset. Their routine is not about impressing others or seeking validation. It is about enhancing their own capacity for excellence and maintaining a life of independence and resilience. By integrating exercise, nutrition, and rest into their daily lives, they ensure that their bodies remain strong, their minds remain sharp, and their overall quality of life is elevated, a testament to the quiet but formidable power of disciplined self-care. The Sigma male's approach to life is a masterclass in aging gracefully, not through denial, but through mindful acceptance. Unlike those obsessed with youth or external appearances, he focuses on authenticity, inner strength, and holistic well-being. Studies show that maintaining a sense of purpose and strong personal values can significantly improve longevity and mental resilience. By investing in physical health, emotional balance, and continuous self-growth, he turns each passing year into an opportunity to deepen his character and wisdom. Aging becomes less about decline and more about refinement, as life experiences shape perspective, empathy, and confidence. True vitality, then, emerges from harmonizing with time, embracing the journey, staying aligned with your principles, and allowing the natural progression of life to enhance rather than diminish your presence. There's something quietly fascinating and deeply uncommon about the way Sigma males engage in love. Not because they lack feeling, but because they love differently in a way that's both singular and profound. If you've ever wondered why the Sigma heart can feel like a distant horizon, or why love with a Sigma man can feel both exhilarating and disorienting, you're not alone. Imagine standing on the shore watching a sunset that no one else seems to notice. You're drawn to it, not because it shouts, but because it whispers. That's the Sigma way. In relationships, Sigma men don't follow standard scripts. They don't mirror what others do. They craft their own emotional currents, subtle yet deep, quiet yet constant. At first glance, this can feel odd. Why aren't they like anyone else, you might wonder? Why doesn't a Sigma male follow the same romantic rhythms we're taught to expect? That's because his connection is grounded in authenticity, introspection, and a fierce sense of independence. It's not indifference. It's not detachment. It's simply that Sigma men love on their own terms, terms shaped by a mind that values personal space as much as emotional closeness. Their love may not look normal because it isn't, but therein lies its peculiar value, in the soft-spoken gestures, the unexpected depths, and the silent loyalty. In this video, we'll gently explore 8 quietly powerful reasons why Sigma males in relationships are the furthest thing from normal. Not in a dramatic, flashy sense, but in a grounded, introspective way that invites you to reconsider what love can be. Let's take this journey together. Number 1. Deep independence over conventional closeness. Sigma males nurture love in a way that is both rare and refreshing. They stay grounded in self-sufficiency. Unlike individuals who step into relationships out of loneliness or a need to fill emotional voids, the Sigma male approaches love from a place of inner stability. He is whole on his own, and this makes his presence in a relationship intentional rather than obligatory. Psychologists often point out that dependency in relationships can create imbalance, where one partner carries the weight of providing constant validation or security. The Sigma male, however, flips this script. He understands that genuine love is not about clinging to someone for fear of being alone, but about choosing to share space, time, and energy with someone who enriches his life. This is why his presence carries so much weight. When he's there, it's because he genuinely wants to be, not because he needs to be. Historically, some of the most influential figures who exhibited Sigma-like traits, think Nikola Tesla or Albert Einstein, thrived in solitude yet formed deep connections when they did engage, proving that independence does not mean isolation. In fact, studies in relationship psychology reveal that partners who maintain individuality often experience healthier, longer-lasting bonds because they avoid the toxic cycle of codependency. The Sigma male embodies this balance by being self-reliant but emotionally available. His strength lies in the paradox of not needing love to survive, but choosing to give it freely, making his affection deeply authentic. In modern culture, where social norms often pressure people to equate constant availability with love, the Sigma male redefines intimacy. His love is steady, quiet, and intentional, grounded in the truth that commitment without dependency creates freedom within the relationship. This doesn't mean he is detached or unfeeling. On the contrary, his independence allows him to love with clarity, without the cloud of desperation or insecurity. He knows that the best partnerships are built when 2 complete individuals come together, not 2 halves searching to be whole. This mindset transforms his relationships into something more than romance. They become partnerships rooted in mutual respect and growth. By staying grounded in self-sufficiency, the Sigma male shows that the truest form of love is not born from need, but from choice, and that choice is what makes his presence so profoundly powerful. Number 2, selective intimacy, not constant togetherness. Sigma males often puzzle people because of the way they approach connection. Unlike more outwardly expressive personalities, they don't see the point in constant displays of affection or performative closeness. For them, relationships are not about filling silence with chatter or gestures meant to reassure others every 5 minutes. Instead, they save their affection for when it truly matters, creating moments that feel authentic rather than routine. This is why being close to a Sigma often feels deeply meaningful, because their attention isn't scattered, it's intentional. Their absence shouldn't be mistaken for neglect or emotional coldness. Rather, it reflects a thoughtful guarding of space that allows them to preserve their independence and inner balance. Psychology highlights that individuals with introverted or contemplative tendencies often need solitude to recharge their mental energy. Sigmas embody this principle to an extreme, treating alone time as essential rather than optional. In fact, studies on interpersonal dynamics suggest that when people balance personal space with moments of genuine closeness, their relationships tend to be more sustainable and less prone to burnout. A Sigma's restraint actually prevents superficiality, ensuring that when they do engage, it carries weight. Picture someone who rarely says, "I love you," but when they do, it's under circumstances that make the words unforgettable. That's the Sigma's way. Their guarded space isn't a wall to keep people out, but a filter to let the right people in and at the right times. This can be both frustrating and refreshing for those around them. Frustrating because society often conditions us to equate affection with frequency, but refreshing because it strips away the noise and keeps only what is real. Even in professional settings, Sigma males display this same quality. They won't crowd others with unnecessary meetings or empty praise. But when they speak up, it is usually sharp, insightful, and impactful. In an age of oversharing and constant digital noise, their scarcity of expression makes their presence feel rare and valuable. To understand them is to realize that their silence is not disinterest, but a form of respect for themselves, for their boundaries, and for the people they choose to let close. Ultimately, their way of reserving closeness is not a flaw, but a different rhythm of connection, one that values depth over display and authenticity over routine. Number 3, emotion expressed through actions, not words. A Sigma's love speaks in quiet deeds, small acts, consistent attentiveness, and subtle support. Unlike the loud declarations or performative gestures that some may rely on to showcase affection, the Sigma male operates differently. His care is never about putting on a display, but about being genuinely present. Psychologists often highlight the idea that true intimacy is not built on grand, sporadic gestures, but on reliability and small demonstrations of commitment over time. This aligns perfectly with the Sigma's nature, as he prefers to express his love in ways that are understated yet deeply impactful. For instance, he may not flood your social media feed with declarations of love, but he will remember the little details about your life that matter. Your favorite drink, the way you like your space organized, or the dreams you quietly mentioned months ago. Research on long-term relationships suggests that couples who thrive tend to practice these very habits: attentiveness, active listening, and unspoken acts of service. The Sigma's way of showing love mirrors this evidence, making it not only genuine but also sustainable. What makes his love particularly unique is that it isn't tied to external validation. While some people may use affection as a tool to gain recognition or social praise, the Sigma male gives quietly because it's rooted in his authenticity, not in seeking attention. This makes his affection rare because it's not conditional or self-serving. He may not always use words to articulate his emotions, but his actions, helping you in moments of need, making sacrifices without mentioning them, or offering silent encouragement when you doubt yourself, speak volumes. In fact, relationship experts often note that consistent small gestures, like leaving a note of encouragement or offering undistracted presence, create stronger bonds than occasional dramatic surprises. The Sigma's love style proves that real connection is not about noise, but about depth. It's a love that doesn't scream for acknowledgement, but instead whispers with certainty, "I'm here, I see you, and you matter." For those who experience it, Sigma love feels like a steady flame, never blinding, never fleeting, but enduring and reliable. In a world where so much love is broadcast for show, the Sigma's quiet but steady affection stands out as one of the most authentic forms of devotion. Number 4, preference for honesty over romantic idealism. Romantic gestures may be rare, but sincerity is not, and this distinction is often misunderstood. Many people have been conditioned by movies, novels, and social media to believe that love must constantly be expressed through grand, sweeping gestures, bouquets of roses, surprise getaways, or dramatic declarations under the stars. While these acts can certainly be beautiful, they are not always the foundation of a deep and lasting connection. Research in psychology suggests that genuine communication, emotional honesty, and small acts of consistency often weigh heavier in building trust and intimacy than extravagant gestures. For instance, Dr. John Gottman, a leading relationship expert, found in his decades of studies that couples who thrive long-term are those who prioritize everyday bids for connection, like listening attentively, acknowledging each other's feelings, and offering comfort in small moments. Sincerity is what makes a relationship withstand the test of time, because it is not dependent on resources, timing, or performance. It stems from truthfulness. Even silence, when shared sincerely, can communicate more than 1,000 rehearsed words. Think of two people sitting together after a long day. Nothing needs to be spoken, but the unspoken presence says, "I'm here, I care, and I see you." That kind of authenticity cannot be faked, and it builds a foundation of emotional safety. Furthermore, sincerity is accessible to everyone, while grand romantic gestures are often limited by circumstance. A handwritten note, a genuine apology, or a look that says, "I understand you," can penetrate deeper than an expensive dinner. Across cultures, this has always been recognized. Ancient philosophers like Seneca and Confucius emphasized truth and intention in human relationships over material display, reminding us that the heart craves depth, not decoration. When someone values sincerity, they don't need a performance. They need your presence. This is why relationships built on honesty, vulnerability, and consistent communication often last longer and weather storms that more superficial connections cannot. At the end of the day, sincerity is the language of trust, and trust is the soil in which love grows. Romantic gestures may capture attention for a moment, but sincerity captures hearts for a lifetime. And perhaps that is the most romantic truth of all. Love doesn't always need to be loudly expressed to be deeply felt. It simply needs to be real. Number 5, freedom is a love language. In relationships, Sigma males approach love in a way that may seem unconventional but is deeply fulfilling once understood. For them, autonomy isn't something to be feared, it's something to be honored. Unlike many who may equate love with constant presence, control, or reassurance, Sigma males thrive when there's a balance between intimacy and independence. They aren't cold or detached. In fact, they're highly capable of forming deep emotional bonds, but they know that genuine love flourishes in an environment where both partners maintain a sense of individuality. Psychology even supports this idea. Studies in relational science show that healthy partnerships strike a balance between connection and personal freedom, with independence actually strengthening long-term satisfaction. Sigma males embody this principle naturally. They love best when their partner respects their need for space just as much as their need for closeness. To them, suffocating relationships where one person becomes overly dependent feel more like chains than bonds. Instead, they see love as two complete individuals walking side by side, not one half seeking completion in another. This is why they're often misunderstood. What some mistake as aloofness is actually a deep respect for boundaries and mutual growth. In fact, autonomy in relationships has been shown to boost creativity, emotional regulation, and even conflict resolution because both partners come to the table as whole, balanced individuals. For Sigma males, independence doesn't weaken intimacy, it strengthens it. They want to be with someone who not only values the connection, but also nurtures their own goals, passions, and identity outside the relationship. When a partner understands this balance, the relationship becomes both liberating and deeply secure. There's no fear of losing oneself in the bond, because individuality is celebrated, not erased. This kind of love allows both people to grow without limits, and it creates a partnership based on trust, freedom, and genuine respect. In a world where many see closeness as the ultimate sign of love, Sigma males remind us that sometimes the truest intimacy is found in the space where independence and connection coexist harmoniously. Number 6, learning partnership through observation. Sigma males often show their understanding not through long-winded conversations, but through subtle, deliberate action. Unlike more extroverted personalities who may rely on constant dialogue to demonstrate interest, Sigma males are often quiet observers, keenly tuned into the details others tend to overlook. Psychologists suggest that active listening is one of the strongest indicators of empathy, and Sigma males tend to excel in this area. They give their full attention without interrupting, which allows them to pick up on nuances in tone, body language, and word choice. This makes them highly perceptive, and their responses, though fewer in number, carry weight because they are carefully considered rather than impulsively spoken. In social dynamics, this sets Sigma males apart as individuals who value depth over noise and clarity over chatter. For example, while many people may respond quickly to fill silence, a Sigma male will often pause, think, and then provide an answer that reveals not only his understanding of the conversation, but also his ability to connect it to broader insights or real-life solutions. Historically, this quality can be linked to traits found in great thinkers, leaders, and innovators. Figures who preferred observation and reflection before acting, such as Nikola Tesla, who was known for his reserved nature and profound ability to see connections others missed. Educational studies on communication styles highlight that non-verbal cues like eye contact and attentive posture account for nearly 55% of effective communication, and Sigma males often excel in this silent yet powerful form of expression. What makes their approach entertaining in its own right is how understated it can be. People often find themselves surprised when the quietest man in the room delivers the most insightful comment or takes the most effective action, reminding us that true understanding doesn't need to be loud to be impactful. In relationships and friendships, this behavior often creates a sense of safety and trust, as others feel genuinely heard and valued rather than brushed aside. It is this ability to listen deeply, notice subtle shifts, and respond with intention that gives Sigma males their enigmatic reputation, seemingly detached on the surface, yet deeply attuned beneath it all. Their silence is not ignorance, it is strategy, reflection, and respect rolled into one. Number 7, quiet loyalty over dramatic proof. Their dedication isn't loud, but it is steady, and that's what makes it so powerful. In a world where people often equate love, loyalty, or commitment with flashy gestures and over-the-top declarations, true dedication can seem almost invisible. Yet history and psychology both show us that consistency is far more reliable than intensity. For example, researchers studying long-term relationships have found that trust is not built overnight through one grand act, but rather through small, dependable behaviors repeated over time. Things like showing up when you say you will, keeping promises, or listening without distraction. This principle extends beyond relationships and into every area of life. Consider athletes who achieve greatness not because of one dramatic training session, but through years of daily discipline, often in obscurity, while no one is watching. Similarly, successful entrepreneurs rarely strike gold overnight. Instead, they build their empires brick by brick through persistence, attention to detail, and the willingness to stay the course when others give up. Even in the natural world, we see the same pattern. Rivers carve valleys not by sudden force, but by steady flowing across centuries. Dedication, then, is less about the noise it makes and more about the stability it offers. A person whose commitment is quiet but unwavering becomes someone others can lean on, because reliability is ultimately more valuable than dramatics. The paradox is that this kind of steady dedication often goes unnoticed in the moment, but it compounds over time, producing results that no short-lived burst of energy could ever achieve. It's a reminder that trust, success, and even love are less about fireworks and more about the slow-burning flame that never goes out. Number 8, love that reflects personal growth, not fixed roles. A Sigma's approach to romance is never static. It matures and deepens as they evolve internally. Unlike those who chase surface-level attraction or temporary validation, the Sigma male tends to view relationships as an extension of his own growth. This doesn't mean he avoids love or detaches from connection, but rather that he sees romance as something built on progress rather than stagnation. Research in psychology suggests that people who actively pursue personal development often foster healthier, more resilient relationships, and Sigma males embody this principle almost naturally. They are introspective, self-reliant, and often unafraid to question themselves, which means their romantic bonds tend to reflect that same honesty and adaptability. For the Sigma, attraction is not just about charm or chemistry. It's about finding a partner who values mutual self-improvement, someone who understands that a relationship thrives when both individuals are constantly becoming better versions of themselves. This makes their love life less about drama or control and more about partnership and growth. In fact, studies show that couples who encourage each other's ambitions and self-discovery report higher long-term satisfaction. A Sigma embraces this dynamic wholeheartedly, often inspiring their partner to rise to higher levels of confidence, independence, and emotional strength. Instead of needing someone to complete them, they seek a bond where both people are already whole, choosing to walk together not out of dependency but out of shared purpose. That's why a Sigma's romance can feel both freeing and profound. It's not a cage, but a catalyst, a connection that mirrors the internal evolution happening within. Their relationships are rarely about fitting societal molds. They're about creating a private world that values authenticity, growth, and the quiet power of two strong individuals building something extraordinary side by side. If Sigma love feels unusual, perhaps that's because it reflects something more elemental, something real. A kind of love that listens in silence, honors the self first, and holds connection in a quiet, steady light. We've explored 8 ways Sigma males redefine romance, not by rejecting love, but by loving on their own deeply considered terms. Maybe the next time you encounter a Sigma love, it won't feel strange. You'll sense the quiet authenticity beneath, and that is the most uncommon and perhaps the most beautiful part of all. Some walk through life unnoticed, blending into the background, while others leave a trail of whispers wherever they go. They don't chase attention, yet people can't help but watch. They don't need to dominate, yet their presence demands respect. These are the Sigma males, silent, calculated, and unpredictable. In a world that is loud and relentless, where hierarchies, expectations, and social systems scream for compliance, most men respond with effort, aggression, or anxiety. The Sigma male, however, operates differently. He observes, he analyzes, he moves without seeking approval or validation, understanding something most will never grasp. True power is quiet, and influence is invisible until it becomes undeniable. This is what makes him dangerous, not because he actively seeks conflict, but because he cannot be controlled. His danger is subtle, penetrating spaces where chaos and impulsivity dominate. In meetings, he sits quietly, calculating his next move with precision. In relationships, he engages selectively, revealing his depth only when it serves a purpose. In life, he moves strategically, ensuring that no one else dictates his path. Psychology studies on personality types, particularly those exploring dominance and introversion, support this idea. Individuals who score high in self-reliance, emotional regulation, and strategic thinking often command influence without overt displays of power. The Sigma male embodies this, having mastered himself before the world can attempt to shape him. No manipulator can pull strings, no alpha can overshadow him, and no external noise can sway his focus. He doesn't compete in pre-established arenas, he builds his own. From a social dynamics perspective, this self-containment and selective engagement allow the Sigma male to navigate both hierarchical and chaotic systems with agility and foresight. This mastery over self, coupled with an innate ability to read and respond to others, creates an aura of quiet dominance, a presence that is both magnetic and formidable. Unlike traditional leaders who rely on assertion and visibility, the Sigma male wields influence like an invisible force, shaping outcomes without ever demanding the spotlight. In essence, his power is subtle, his strategy meticulous, and his danger undeniable, not through aggression, but through the unshakable control he holds over his own life. Today we explore 8 ways Sigma males show that they're dangerous, not through force, not through spectacle, but through precision, control, and the quiet mastery of the self. Point 1. He disrupts without aggression. The world thrives on noise, spectacle, and overt displays of dominance. Society teaches us to believe that power is measured by volume, aggression, and visible control. Yet the Sigma male operates in a realm that most cannot perceive, a subtle dimension where presence itself commands authority. He does not announce his arrival with fanfare. Instead, he moves silently, deliberately, and with an almost imperceptible grace, like a shadow that slips between cracks in the social fabric. When he enters a room, he does not compete for attention, and yet attention is inevitably drawn to him. Scientists studying human behavior and influence, such as those in social psychology, often note that certain individuals can affect group dynamics without speaking a word, simply through body language, energy, and the strategic use of silence. This is the Sigma male in action. His influence is absorbed unconsciously by those around him, and even systems that seem unshakable feel subtle tremors in his presence. Unlike traditional leaders who demand recognition, the Sigma does not seek to dominate. His impact is a natural byproduct of his independence and self-mastery. Neuroscience has shown that human brains respond strongly to unexpected patterns and behaviors. This is why a Sigma male's calm, unorthodox approach creates both curiosity and tension. People notice him before they understand why, and his actions often inspire imitation or anxiety, even without intention. In many ways, he functions as a living disruption, challenging norms and expectations simply by being true to his own path. Historical figures who operated outside conventional hierarchies, visionaries, inventors, and revolutionary thinkers often exhibited similar traits. They reshaped environments quietly but irrevocably. The Sigma male embodies this timeless archetype, merging observation with action and intuition with restraint. He does not seek conflict, yet systems that relied on predictability and control find themselves unsettled in his wake. Influence, like a subtle vibration, radiates from him and alters the trajectory of those nearby. It is neither loud nor boastful. It is undeniable, insidious in the best sense, and deeply magnetic. The disruption he causes is never premeditated, for it is not sought. It is the inevitable consequence of existing in a way that the world is unprepared to understand. His presence is felt long before it can be labeled, leaving a lingering impression on minds and systems alike, and proving that true power often lies not in force, but in the silent mastery of self and the quiet reshaping of the world around him. Point 2, he sees patterns others miss. Where others perceive chaos, he sees patterns, an underlying order that is invisible to most. The world is a maze of social structures, unspoken rules, and hidden hierarchies, and to him these are not mere background noise, they are a map. Every conversation, every gesture, every fleeting glance carries information that he instinctively decodes, turning what others dismiss as trivial into actionable insight. His silence is rarely empty, it is deliberate, a shield that conceals meticulous observation and mental calculation. In social settings, the average person reacts instinctively, often swayed by emotions or peer pressure, but he absorbs the environment, analyzing motives, connections, and opportunities with the precision of a chess master surveying the board. Research in behavioral psychology shows that individuals who can read subtle social cues, micro-expressions, tone shifts, and body language often wield influence without overt authority. This is precisely how he operates, quietly, strategically, and with unmatched foresight. He anticipates outcomes before they materialize, positioning himself in spaces where others cannot compete. Where many stumble blindly, he moves with calculated intention, predicting reactions and preempting problems. It is not arrogance, it is a disciplined understanding of cause and effect, a recognition that every action, no matter how small, sends ripples through the social and professional spheres around him. Neuroscientific studies reveal that high-functioning individuals often exhibit heightened activity in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, planning, and understanding social hierarchies, an ability to weigh options and foresee consequences that appears almost instinctual. In essence, he transforms observation into power. To the casual observer, his presence may seem enigmatic, even intimidating. He does not seek validation, nor does he compete for attention. Instead, he conserves his energy, directing it only where it matters, making calculated moves that others can neither predict nor counter. The quiet dominance he exerts is not built on aggression or charm alone. It is the product of relentless attention to detail, emotional intelligence, and the capacity to see patterns where others see only noise. In a world full of distractions, he thrives in the gaps, the silences, and the overlooked spaces. He reminds us that true influence is rarely loud. It is precise, informed, and inevitable, emerging from an acute awareness of the world that most cannot fathom. Where others see randomness, he discovers order, and it is in that order that his power is made unmistakably clear. Point 3. Self-mastery over impulse. The Sigma male's true power lies not in domination over others, but in mastery over himself, a mastery that precedes any attempt the world might make to define, challenge, or control him. He understands that every choice carries weight, so nothing is left to chance. Decisions are not reactions born from fleeting emotion, but deliberate acts shaped by insight, strategy, and self-awareness. While ordinary men might be tossed by fear, pride, or impatience, the Sigma recognizes these impulses as natural human responses and uses them as tools rather than allowing them to dictate his behavior. Fear can become a guide, highlighting risk and shaping careful preparation. Pride can become a mirror, reflecting areas in which he can improve rather than seeking validation from others. Impatience, when understood and harnessed, transforms into focused energy that propels him toward long-term goals. In this way, emotional intelligence becomes an instrument of subtle strength, far more formidable than brute force or loud aggression. Self-mastery is dangerous because it is silent yet unyielding. Calm precision, honed through awareness and restraint, carries more weight than anger, which is fleeting, reactive, and often self-defeating. History is filled with examples of leaders, inventors, and strategists whose patience and measured approach outmaneuvered rivals, fueled by impulsive rage. The Sigma male operates in a similar realm. His power is not in creating spectacle, but in executing calculated actions that ripple far beyond immediate perception. His environment often underestimates him because he does not need to prove himself. The world only sees the effects of his deliberate choices. This is a mindset rooted in psychological discipline and philosophy, echoing the principles of Stoicism, where internal control and reasoned action triumph over external chaos. Every decision, from the smallest interaction to the largest life-altering choice, is filtered through this lens of self-command. His calm, controlled presence commands respect without demanding it. He moves with intention, aware that true strength is measured not by impulsive dominance, but by the ability to navigate life's unpredictability with clarity and confidence. In a society obsessed with reaction, noise, and immediate gratification, the Sigma male's quiet authority is revolutionary. He demonstrates that the most dangerous power is not the one that lashes out, but the one that remains unfazed, deliberate, and entirely in control of itself, turning internal mastery into an unstoppable force in the external world. Point 4, independence is his shield. He needs nothing from anyone: approval, validation, money, or praise. This is not a statement of arrogance, but a reflection of complete self-sufficiency, a hallmark of the Sigma male mindset. Independence, in this sense, is often misunderstood as loneliness, but it is far more than that. It is armor. While the majority of people are constantly seeking approval, negotiating social hierarchies, and measuring themselves against the standards of others, he moves through life untethered, guided by his own principles and goals. Psychologists note that this form of self-reliance is a form of emotional intelligence, a recognition that external validation is fleeting and ultimately unreliable. By detaching from the constant need to fit in or impress, he cultivates a rare kind of freedom, one that allows him to operate outside the arenas where men typically compete for power, status, or influence. This independence does not mean he avoids society or lacks ambition. Rather, it means that his actions are motivated by internal standards, not external pressures. Neuroscience has shown that people who rely less on social approval have more resilient stress responses and are better able to make rational decisions under pressure. In a world where most are swayed by opinion, trends, or fear of rejection, he remains untouchable, moving with precision and discretion, almost invisible yet profoundly impactful. The paradox is clear. The less the world can sway him, the more dangerous he becomes. Not in a physical sense, but in the quiet power of someone who cannot be manipulated or controlled. Leaders, influencers, and even adversaries often underestimate this kind of strength, assuming that social detachment equates to weakness, when in reality it is an unshakable core that allows him to act with clarity, confidence, and strategic foresight. History is filled with figures who exemplified this principle, from solitary strategists like Miyamoto Musashi, who mastered the art of war through discipline and detachment, to modern innovators who thrived precisely because they refused to conform to conventional expectations. Ultimately, this kind of independence is a rare form of mastery, over oneself, over distractions, and over the subtle pressures that govern ordinary lives. It is both shield and weapon, a quiet, formidable force in a world that constantly tries to define and confine human potential. Point 5, he commands respect without demand. Respect is a currency that cannot be bought, borrowed, or demanded. It must be earned, and the Sigma male understands this principle better than anyone. Unlike those who rely on volume, displays of wealth, or outward aggression to assert dominance, the Sigma's influence is subtle, almost invisible, yet incredibly potent. He doesn't need to announce his presence, it is felt. Neuroscience tells us that human attention is naturally drawn to confidence and competence. When someone demonstrates mastery over their emotions, decisions, and environment, others instinctively recognize and defer to that authority. The Sigma leverages this truth effortlessly. While alphas might command a room with loud proclamations, gestures, or displays of power, the Sigma exerts a quieter, more insidious force. His influence does not come from noise, but from the weight of his integrity, the precision of his actions, and the clarity of his purpose. Studies in social psychology show that people often respect those who operate independently of social validation because self-sufficiency signals competence, security, and confidence, qualities the Sigma embodies. His quietness is not a weakness but a strategy. Every action is calculated, every word measured. In fact, research in leadership and behavioral science confirms that restraint can often be more effective than forceful persuasion. By observing, listening, and understanding the dynamics around him, the Sigma positions himself to act at the precise moment, making his moves more impactful than those of someone constantly seeking approval. This is why his presence is undeniable. It carries an unspoken authority that cannot be ignored. The Sigma does not conform to societal pressures or conventional hierarchies. He defines his own rules, and through this independence he cultivates a magnetic aura. People may not always understand him, but they feel compelled to acknowledge him. It is in this combination of quiet intelligence, strategic patience, and unwavering self-possession that the Sigma earns respect, not by demanding it, not by asserting it, but simply by existing in a way that commands recognition. To witness a Sigma is to see the paradox of subtle dominance. He is everywhere and nowhere, moving through life with a presence that speaks louder than words ever could. His world is one of deliberate action, quiet mastery, and undeniable impact, proving that true respect is not given, it is experienced. Point 6. He is unpredictable and hard to manipulate. A Sigma male's ability to see through manipulation is both fascinating and formidable, and it stems from a combination of keen observation, emotional intelligence, and self-reliance. Unlike most people, he doesn't react impulsively to social cues or pressure. Instead, he analyzes situations quietly, identifying the subtle signals of deception, hidden motives, or hidden agendas. Psychologists have noted that people who possess high emotional intelligence are naturally more resistant to manipulation, as they can read body language, tone, and context with precision, allowing them to anticipate hidden strategies before they are even deployed. For a Sigma male, this skill is almost second nature. When someone attempts to coerce him or play a social game, he often doesn't engage at all. He recognizes early on whether the stakes are worth his energy. This ability to disengage is itself a form of power. While others waste time and energy reacting to drama, he preserves his focus for what truly matters. His unpredictability amplifies this effect. In social psychology, unpredictability is a recognized deterrent. It prevents others from forming patterns or strategies to influence behavior. Because he refuses to conform to expectations, whether from authority, peers, or societal norms, others quickly realize they cannot control him. This independence is not arrogance, it's strategic autonomy. By existing outside conventional manipulation and social coercion, he creates an aura of quiet authority and self-possession. People may try to test him, but their games fail, often leaving them frustrated or bewildered. In essence, his strength lies in his detachment. He moves through life guided by his own compass, unaffected by the pressures or schemes that ensnare those who rely too heavily on external validation. This combination of insight, autonomy, and unpredictability makes the Sigma male uniquely resilient in social dynamics, a figure both enigmatic and untouchable, quietly navigating the world on his own terms. Point 7. He turns solitude into power. Solitude is often misunderstood as loneliness or absence, but in truth, it is one of the most powerful catalysts for growth and creation. While society chases constant stimulation through social media, entertainment, and endless obligations, those who embrace solitude step into a realm where true mastery is possible. Time alone allows the mind to sharpen, focus, and innovate in ways crowded environments rarely permit. Historical figures from Leonardo da Vinci to Nikola Tesla understood this principle, retreating into periods of intense isolation to experiment, invent, and cultivate ideas that would later transform the world. In solitude, the body can be trained with discipline, the intellect honed with study, and the spirit deepened through reflection. Neuroscience even supports the benefits of solitude. Research shows that moments of quiet reflection improve memory, boost creativity, and enhance emotional regulation. Far from being wasted, these hours are investments in personal power and influence. They allow one to observe patterns unnoticed by the distracted masses, to think deeply, and to make connections others miss. Each moment spent alone is an act of preparation, laying the groundwork for achievements that are impossible to reach in constant noise. Solitude is not a void, it is fertile soil. In its quiet, one grows resilient, wise, and strategic, developing skills that ripple outward in subtle but profound ways. Influence, leadership, and creativity are often born in the stillness, proving that those who master the art of solitude are quietly shaping destinies that no crowd can shape for them. Point 8. He leaves impact without visibility. His legacy is a study in subtle power, the kind that moves quietly but leaves an undeniable imprint. Unlike those who chase attention or accolades, he operates in the background, shaping outcomes without ever stepping into the spotlight. Sociologists and historians often note this type of influence. People may not recognize it immediately, but systems, communities, and organizations are fundamentally changed by it. Consider the quiet innovators in technology or science. Think of individuals like Nikola Tesla or Rosalind Franklin, whose contributions shaped entire fields even when the world didn't fully acknowledge them at the time. Similarly, in everyday life, some leaders or thinkers leave behind frameworks, ideas, or cultural shifts that outlast their physical presence, proving that influence doesn't require grand gestures. His work resonates not because it demands recognition, but because it addresses underlying needs, solves persistent problems, and inspires those attuned enough to notice. Psychology supports this. Human memory tends to hold on to the effects of actions more than the personalities behind them, meaning that true impact often lingers invisibly. This type of legacy is powerful because it's enduring, like the roots of a tree that stabilize the soil long after the leaves have fallen. It teaches an important lesson about value and contribution. Significance is not measured in applause or headlines, but in the quiet, lasting change that touches systems, people, and generations. In essence, he demonstrates that influence is an art of subtlety, a craft where impact outlives recognition and where the echo of one's efforts quietly shapes the world in ways most will never fully perceive. Danger is not loud. It does not announce itself. It waits, it observes, it acts with precision. Sigma males are dangerous because they master themselves, move strategically, and leave the world